have to understand, in becoming great, you're going to lose some of the people that you thought was your people. Sometimes you can, in becoming great, what you're going to see is an exposure of who people really are. And sometimes it's hard on people who are trying to become great, because your heart, you don't have a jealous bone in your body. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that envious. You want it for everybody. One thing I've noticed about being around other people who understand the journey of greatness is that they want everybody around them to be great. And what you have to understand is everybody around you does not want to be great. Majority of people around you, what they want to do is they want to ride the train until they can't ride it no more. Because if you pay attention to Moses and the journey of Moses, when he accepted the call, which was the beginning of him becoming great, beginning of him becoming a leader, beginning of him understanding how he was going to help his people, or whatever the case may be. And what you go and look at the journey for 40 years, Aaron was the only one who understood, I'm standing beside greatness. I want to help greatness. I want to learn how to pour into greatness. Not only that, I want to learn how to become great. The rest of the people only wanted to follow. They only wanted to follow. What you have to come to understand, greatness is hard on your flesh. Greatness is hard on your heart, especially if you got a good one. Let me tell you something. The number one thing, a lot of people who made your vision boards, people who thinking of your goals of traveling and wanting a bigger house and a bigger car. Listen, that ain't got nothing to do with your greatness. They ain't got nothing to do with your greatness, because there's a lot of people who got a big house and their mind ain't in the right place. It's a lot of people that got the nice car and their heart ain't in the right place. It's a lot of people, listen to me, they have a whole bunch of friends. And when they come around, just because they had that entourage and everybody shaking their hand and showing them love, it does not mean that they are great. Because last time I tell you, when because in becoming great, a lot of times you have a lot of people around you who won't even hold you accountable. Them folks won't even tell you about yourself. Them folks won't even correct you. You know why? Because they don't want to get cut off by you. And that's why a lot of people who become great become irresponsible, because you surrounded by people who won't tell you no. You surrounded by people who won't critique you. See, greatness won't do that. Greatness won't surround themselves by a bunch of yes men and a bunch of yes women. See, greatness will get around people who will hold them accountable. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Your interpretation and your perspective of when it comes to greatness is so thrown off. That's what got a lot of people thrown off when it comes to this social media. Because you looking at social media and you compare what these people have and where they going and who they around to greatness and evolving and becoming something. But them people sick. A lot of people can't see that they sick. How many times we done watched and saw people come out of the woodworks, like we just seen with Cat Williams. We just seen Cat Williams come out and expose so many secrets about so many people that we have considered great people. I'm telling you, greatness is a whole different journey than what it is that you look at, what it is that it look like. And let me explain something to you, to the people who desire to be great. People gonna overlook you. Listen to what I listen, and that's gonna be the worst part of the journey. That's gonna be the hardest, painful part of the journey. You're gonna be overlooked when you becoming great. Because I'm gonna tell you something, when you becoming great and you got yourself around people that's gonna hold you accountable and you gonna hold them accountable, you're gonna lose people. You're gonna lose people who realize that you setting healthy boundaries. Because guess what? They're gonna start talking to you funny, acting funny around. You know why? Because it ain't what's on you, it's what's in you. That greatness come. Listen, to whom is given, much is required. Great. Let's pay attention to the journey. Let's pay attention to the journey of the King, Yeshua, who we know is Jesus the Christ. His greatness didn't have nothing to do with what he had. He was rich in spirit. He was rich in spirit. This man could come around. It didn't matter what he had on. It didn't matter if they had cars, but it wouldn't matter what he drove. If he stepped into the room and he started talking, you could tell he was the richest man in the room by the wisdom that he had, by the knowledge that he had, by the understanding that he had. And see, that's what people don't that's what people don't want when it comes to greatness. You want your greatness to look a certain type of way. That's what he told the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He said, on the outside, all you fresh as ever. He said, but on the inside, he said it's a graveyard. See, y'all fooled by people and their greatness because they come around and they got their chains on. They got their watches on. They pulled up in a nice car. But guess what? Just like a lot of these pastors, they'll sit up here and preach the word, and then when they get in their car, they'll roll off and grin and laugh. You know why? Because we just fooled a bunch of gullible people. Greatness don't try to fool gullible people. Greatness want greatness for everybody. That's why Yeshua, who we know as Jesus the Christ, told them, when I leave, you are going to do greater things than me. You know why? Because greatness, like the king, if anybody is in your circle, you're going to raise them up to be better than you. How many leeches have we saw, whether they be in the church or in the streets? You know how many drug dealers I was around growing up? Them folks will never give you the plan on how to exceed them. That'll never be the case. That's why he told them, when I leave, you're going to go and do greater things than me. Anybody who's ever been around me, my goal was to make sure that them folks were straight. Because I'm going to tell you something about the giver. Because greatness, anybody who desires to be great, I promise you they're a giver. Because one thing I know about the Most High is that the giver never run out. And let's not get confused with being a giver with it being money. Because knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the best thing that you can give to anybody. Now, money can enable and cripple a person before knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because if you give a person, if you teach a person to fish, they'll never be hungry. But if you always go in there and you giving them food to eat, then of course they're gonna always have to be dependent on you. When he first went and got the disciples, the first thing he told them, because he understood what it was that they was doing and what they liked to do, he said, follow me. I'm going to make you fishermen of men. I'm going to show you how to do this, and you will be able to survive the rest of your entire life. This man dedicated the 3 years that we know of him on this earth in his ministry to make sure when I leave here, because he was great. He was great. He was so humble, lowly, down to earth. He understood in these 3 years, the people that I have around me right now, the 12, and once you subtract Judas, and then you add Stephen, and then you add Paul, and then you add the rest of them, what you have to understand is, I'm gonna take these 12, and with the greatness that I have in me, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, I'm gonna make sure it changed the world. And we watching that effect to this day. But listen, let me tell you something else that comes with greatness. When it come to the greatness, the world is not gonna love you neither. That's one thing I've come to understand. You would assume, because evil is so, listen to me, evil is everywhere. You would assume with being great, you would think people would love and want to cling to you and help you and be there for you and support you and encourage you and pour into you. Let me tell you something. That's not how it go when you becoming great. Because you go look at the king, it was several times they wanted to set this man up to try to off him. And then if you go and look at the greatness in the world we live in today, this is a prime example. This is a prime example when they wanted to free Barabbas, when they wanted to free Barnabas. I can't remember which one. Them folks was willing to free somebody who they knew was awful and a criminal however you want, and lock up the person who was great. That's the world we live in today. You can watch these folks say free rappers who don't do nothing but talk about murder. They don't do nothing about degrading women. You can listen to them over and over and over. And a lot of people about to shoot their shot at me about what I'm about to get ready to say, but I need you to pay attention to the example that I'm trying to explain, and don't try to take it as I'm trying to defend somebody, because I don't know what they did and what they didn't do. But this is one thing I do know for sure, and two things for certain. T.D. Jakes has been preaching that word since I don't know how long. But in how many people he's helped, how many people he's ministered to, how many people done watched his video, how many people he's helped get a better understanding of the word, how many people he's prayed for, how many people he's laid hands. Listen, he got so many different programs. Listen to him. Listen what I'm trying to tell you. All it took was for one thing to come out, and we don't know if it's true or not. For all the people that he done probably helped to turn their back on that man. That's what greatness look like. Because regardless if anybody want to admit it, if he failed and say, listen, if he failed and he choose to get back up, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that man was great. And if you want to argue with that, You need to take a look at yourself. That man has been great. We saw this man married. We saw this man raise a family. We saw this man minister for years and years. We saw this man traveling the world doing ministry. We don't know what he do on his personal time. We don't know that. But you watch rappers. You listen to the rappers. Then this another thing right here. Then this another thing. This another thing. Man, listen. Greatness is painful. Greatness is painful. The minute I prayed in 2010, I was sitting in a cell. Matter of fact, I was listening to the TD Jakes. 2010, when I got down on my knees and I caught the Holy Ghost. This is 2024. In 2010, when I prayed that prayer, I had no idea the sacrifices I was going to have to make. I had no idea of the people that I was going to have to cut off when I made that decision, because in that decision, you're premature in your mind, and you thinking this choice that I'm making is about to help those that I love and care about the most. And that's not what it is, because you'll be a ransom for many. And a lot of times it ain't got nothing to do with your friends and family. At that point, I did not understand how much hate was going to come with the journey. People who desire to be great, listen to me, you cannot see the journey. You can only have glimpses of it. And in that, you can't see that all these people gonna really despise and hate your guts. And listen to me, even when you got people around you that you think are, listen to me, you intimidate them. Greatness is intimidation. That's what you had to understand. When you becoming great, it can be intimidating to those who do not understand. And because they're not in the right place in their spirit, and they're not in the right place in their mind, I promise you, what they'll try to do everything in their power to tear you down, and you won't even be able to see it. You won't even be able to see it, because they'll smile in your face. They'll be there to support you. They'll talk to you and encourage you. That is the worst part of this right here. Because deep down inside, they waiting for the moment for you to fall, because they don't want to see you continue to grow. And it's horrible that it's like that, but you have to understand that is a part of counting the cost. Because your greatness will cause people to despise the every move that you make, the every step that you take. And I'm gonna tell you something else about becoming great. Becoming great requires a lot of isolation. It requires a lot of research and reading and growing, and most importantly, prayer. It requires a lot of getting your mind right, getting your soul right. It requires a lot of compromises. And in doing that, a lot of people they hate to see people who are disciplined. Greatness comes with so much discipline. People hate to see how disciplined you are. And you want me to tell you why? Because your discipline makes things look easier to somebody who's not disciplined. When somebody is not disciplined and they watching somebody succeed, they watching somebody do things the way that listen to me, they wonder that you're doing it because you're setting time apart for what it is that you love to do, and who you desire to become. So your discipline makes it look like it's easier than what it is. And most people can't stand to see somebody do something and you making it look so simple. It's because I'm disciplined. You don't put in the time. You don't put in the effort. Matter of fact, you don't surround yourself with the type of people and that's going to give you the information to become who it is you want to become, and make a way in the area in the lane that you're trying to go in. You're not disciplined enough. So when I step out and you see me doing what it is that I'm doing and making the moves that I'm making, and you sitting back and saying, dang, how they doing that? It's the discipline. That's what it is. And listen, that's another thing that will intimidate people when it comes to you being great. Greatness is not easy. Listen. Greatness is not a simple thing. And people hate it because you done it or you're doing it. Greatness is not just an overnight thing. Greatness is not something a person woke up and they just started doing. them folks started making healthy choices. Them folks started saying, I can't afford to go out, and they started staying in. And now you wonder why they financially in front of you. Them folks started cutting people off who was not like-minded, and you wondering why you stuck in the same rut. It's because you hang around the same mindset type of people that ain't gonna help you get out of it. And now you mad at me. You wonder what greatness is, realizing it's more in life than what it is that I'm doing. And when you do that and them folk can't stand to see that. Listen to me. Greatness is a painful process, but it's beneficial. And most people see, we live in a microwave generation. Live in a microwave. Too many people want results just like that. Show me anybody that got the results that way. And just because somebody understood, I have to take the time to become what it is. Listen to me. I did 10 years in prison. I was in and out of trouble my entire life. All I knew was the streets. All I knew was hustling and taking. All I knew was mistreating women. I've never been around a man who knew how to properly, listen to what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go deep into the greatness, the journey of greatness. It ain't got nothing to do with what I have on my body or what I drive or what I live in. Listen, I've never seen a man who could communicate with a woman in a healthy level. Never. I've never seen a man say, listen to me, check that. I've never had a man in my life tell me, listen to me, check this out. You can't, you should try it this way. Talk to, look, I know you probably disagree, but you ain't got to. I've never saw that in my entire life. I didn't grow up with men who was married in my family who know how to treat a woman, and vice versa. None of the women in my family are married. To this day, I've never properly saw a woman treat a man the way he desired, the way he was designed to be treated from the Most High. Loved on, nurtured, poured in, catered to. I have never seen that. So that's just one area of becoming great. People don't look at them areas as becoming great. What they look at is, I want to be able to compete with what I have. And that is your definition of greatness. Me, I sit back and I say, what areas do I need to work on? You know what I'm saying? What area? I ain't never had that. I never had that. It's the same thing when it comes to people, just in general. When it comes to people in general, what I've come to understand is I have a trust issue. I've always had one. You know why? Because I come from the streets. But guess what the Most High done showed me? You want to go somewhere in life. You ain't going to be able to, I ain't saying don't discern and be aware. Listen to what I'm saying. I ain't saying don't have discernment and be aware of people and intentions, but you have to understand, everybody has a background. Some people may come with a motive, but sometimes the Most High can touch the heart and understand. You don't have to have a motive around this person, because if you come and you just continue to be who you need to be in each other's life, eventually that motive will die down. Because listen to me, greatness can kill a motive. Greatness can kill a person that can kill, it can most definitely shed off that ulterior motive somebody had in their life, and they can realize that you're more beneficial being righteous in this person's life than trying to get over on this person, because what you're going to understand is the greatness that's in this person will cut you off if you keep doing what you're doing. But I also had to understand how to allow people to come into my life. That was another thing. I have to understand how to allow people to come in my life and be who the Most High designed them to be, and vice versa. You quit thinking that the Most High just sending people to help you, because most importantly, you're there to help one another. Quit looking at greatness. A person that's seeking greatness, you're not looking for people that's just gonna help you get to where you're trying to go. You're realizing both of you are trying to get in wherever you try, and you're supposed to help one another. That's what greatness look like. That's why you hear so many of these celebrities talk about gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are just not in the celebrity world. Gatekeepers are at the bottom level too, because it's a lot of people who are at the bottom and they found out some information, they got a hold to some information, and them folks applied that information, and instead of giving that to the next person, they want to charge you for it. And it's nothing wrong with charging. because it's a part of business. But they want to overly charge you for it. That's the issue right there. Because we, as people of color, ain't no way. Listen to me. If we talk about we want to help it, greatness is helping the next man down. Because if we all get up, what time is it? And going back to greatness, the giver never runs out when you're great. I'm going to say it again. When you're becoming great, the giver never runs out. I'm going to tell you why. Because the Most High ain't going to never stop giving to you. Because he going to understand, if you go and pay attention to the prayer of King Solomon, when he asked him, he had three things. He said he just wanted the knowledge and the wisdom, understanding in order to help and lead and guide the Most High's people. That's greatness. Greatness is understanding that you probably that you're gonna have to carry some people. Greatness is understanding that you've counted the cost, and some of these people that you gonna eventually have to carry gonna be frustrated and they're gonna get on your nerves. But the Most High honor that, because the Most High understands, just like when he sent Abraham, just like when he sent Moses, just like when he sent any other prophets, just like when he sent any other vessels, just like when he sent any other leaders, and just like when he sent his son who shed his blood for us on that cross and was pierced in his side. You know what I'm talking about. They understood that this journey is not about me first. Listen, the journey is not you. It's not about you first. And that's what so many people get misconstrued about becoming great. You think it's about you first. It's not about you first. It's about his people. Because the minute you step in and to understand, you're understanding that you're the sacrifice. That's why when you read that famous scripture that they like to quote with Joseph, when he said the Most High, what the enemy meant for evil, the Most High turned it and used it for good. You need to understand this and apply it to your life in this way too. What the Most High meant for what the enemy meant for evil, when he wanted you to continue to be greedy, when he wanted you to continue to take the whole pie for yourself, when you ended up in a position of where you didn't have to look back and help nobody, when you realized what the enemy meant for evil, that you started breaking chains, and it ain't to keep it a secret in how you became a better person when you was touched on by a family member. It ain't for you to keep it as a secret when you was in that abusive relationship and then you came out of it to keep it to yourself, because that's what the enemy wants you to believe. It ain't for you to keep that information to yourself when you realize how to come out of a slump, when you realize that your people in the slump. It ain't for you to keep that financial information that could set somebody else free. But see, that's what the enemy meant for evil. But then listen to the scripture. He said he turned it and used it for good. And see, this is the part everybody leave out. He said, in order for many people's lives to be saved. Listen, quit applying that in one way. He said, what the enemy meant for evil, the Most High turned for good in order for many people's lives to be saved. What is it to save a life? To save a life is to help them financially. To save a life is to break them financially. It's to break the mental holes off of them. To save a life is to share your testimony, like he said. He said, we don't overcome by the. He said, we overcome by the word, by the blood and the word of our testimony. It should be an obligation. It should be an obligation and a responsibility for you to share that information and how you became better in your relationship, and how you shouldn't have a problem with sharing that information. That's a part of being great. But see, most people will sit back, and when they become great, they greedy. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you why I understand that too, because I experienced it. When I'm speaking, I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm speaking for something that I learned and seen within myself at a time. Because when the platform first went crazy and I started making money, my thought in my mind was get it while you can. You know why? Because I never had it. I never had it. I never got to enjoy it on a legal level. And then I said, if I start sharing this information, then what? But then I had to come to understand, wait. If the Most High gave it to you, what makes you think if you give the information away, he ain't going to stop giving to you? So at that point, I said, then give him the game then. Listen, then give him the game. I've been on here for almost 3-4 years. I don't care nothing about hitting no million followers. I could have been done it. I don't care. Listen, I don't care nothing about them views continuing to go crazy. I could have been done it. What I want to continue to do is become great. I'm not caught up in social media world because that it's not reality to me. I'm not sitting on here continue to try to please people and break my neck on here. Because let me tell you something, social media is most definitely good to make money. But social media don't control me. They can shut this thing down today. If you ain't a hustler, then what's gonna happen? But going back to being great. Listen to me. Greatness requires work. Greatness requires work. In and out of trouble my whole life. Do you think for 1 minute that I woke up like this? That's impossible. If you done read, and listen, if you done read my book, if you done read this book right here, y'all double tap the screen real quick to me too. Double tap the screen. Commercial break me, please. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen, and if you ain't already following me, hit the follow button. If you ain't got the book, it's on sale right now for $12 too on my website, jtb3.org. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen, and if you ain't already following me, hit that follow button. Hit the follow button. Double tap the screen, and if you ain't following me, hit the follow button. Listen, appreciate that, Dan. In this book right here, let me tell you something about greatness. In this book right here, if you gonna read it or you read it, in that entire book, the only thing you seen was wickedness. That's it. Being lost, being broken, damaged, trauma. That's all you saw. Before I wrote this book, this is what you had to understand. I came into understanding that that's what was going on. And in order to become who I have become today, and I'm going to become even greater, say those things as though they are. That's the word. I'm going to become greater. But in order to do that, what I had to say to myself is, hey, you was wrong. Hey, that right there you ain't gonna be able to succeed in that area if you thinking you're gonna be able to keep getting over on people. The Life of Boo Baker. My website is jtb3.org. jtb3.org. In becoming great, I realized you're not gonna be able to surround yourself with people who's got a certain type of mindset no more. Even though that's what you love and that's all you know. Don't you keep telling yourself that those are the only people that you can hang around. Don't let your spirit get intimidated by being around somebody who can speak financially fluently when it come to business because you don't know nothing about it. Don't you dare use an excuse and say, I don't know nothing about that, so I don't want to hang around them people. Don't you dare get around somebody that knows way more than you and you try to make and you come up with an excuse to self-sabotage the success that the Most High is trying to put in front of you and things that can help you. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, hey, can you explain that to me? It's okay to say, you know what? I ain't never heard that before. It's okay to do that because in order to become great, you're going to have to take accountability and responsibility and realize that the stuff that you learned in the hood ain't going to get you nowhere. Listen to me. Knowing that 28 is a whole ounce and 56 is 2 ounces and a ball is 3.5, a quarter is 7 and a half is 14. Listen, ain't going to get you nothing. Just because you know to put an extra 14 on the 28 and you're going to get to listen to me. If that's the only language you can speak, it's not going to get you nowhere. If you thinking you're going to be successful in a relationship, if you're going to keep applying the toxicity in the games that you used to run in the relationships when you was in the street and didn't know no better, listen to me. You're going to run into a decent, good woman, and what you're going to realize is she's not going to go for it. You know why? Because every woman is not the same. Every woman was not raised the same. Listen, and you thinking you're gonna continue to be able to trauma bond. That's not what's gonna happen because majority of the relationships in the hood's like where I come from. A lot of it is trauma bonding. You know why? We had similar backgrounds. Our parents have similar backgrounds. We familiar with what's going on. So when we link up and we kick it, our conversations seem like we have so much in common. Our experiences seem like we have so much in common. But then when you realize if you go outside that city and you meet a woman who was raised by both parents, or you meet a woman who has strong, listen, who has strong women in her life. I'm not talking about the strong black woman that we have been taught. I'm talking about the ones who were struggling financially and didn't want to tell nobody, and they kept saying, oh, I'm just going to figure it out. And them folks didn't have enough knowledge, or they didn't have enough willpower to go and create an extra stream of income. They just kept struggling in silence, and we thought that was strength. Now that's not strength right there. That's not strength. That's not greatness right there. I'm gonna cast that down, and don't get on here and say it is, because it's not. That is a curse that's been spoke over for so many years. No, listen. You get around, they've been around women who done said, hey, that right there, that ain't for you right there. That man ain't don't know how to lead. That man ain't gonna be trying to provide for you, protect you. What that man doing, he controlling you, and he wanna mold you, he wanna do this, and this. I have not been around men who could understand and be around a boss woman. So listen what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something about greatness. I have not been around men. There's not one man in my family that I know has been with a woman that was a boss. Listen what I'm gonna tell you. And I'm saying that because most men that I've been around, and 70, probably 80% of men that I know, listen, they can't handle a woman that's got drive. They can't handle a woman that's motivated. They can't handle them types of women because it's intimidating. They don't know their place as a man. So what they do is they get women that they get women, or they either break them down, or they self-sabotage, or they try to go get something that they know that they can handle. Greatness is being able to understand her greatness is not against me. Listen to me. It should not offend me. And this is another problem when it comes to being great. Most men don't know how to communicate their feelings. You hear me? Most men can't say, hey, I ain't saying I want to continue to feel this way, but I ain't gonna sit here and act like it does not make me, it does not intimidate me that you're here. And I'm here. I understand you here for me, but I just want to get that out of my chest. Because sometimes I be having to correct myself. Most people can't do that. Most people can't do that. And see, I'm gonna tell you something about being great. I'm gonna tell you something else about greatness, bro. I'm gonna tell you something else about greatness. It frees you to be vulnerable. People who are great they not tripping on being vulnerable. Listen. Vulnerability is listen to me. That is a symptom of greatness. That's exactly what that is. Vulnerability is a symptom of greatness. When you can say how you feel, what's making you feel some type of way, correct that behavior, and not worried about somebody judging you, saying you slow, or saying this or saying that about you, saying you broke, saying you, man, listen to me. Vulnerability is a symptom of greatness. I have no problem with saying, hey, it is what it is. You stronger than me in that area right there. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's nothing wrong with doing it. It's nothing wrong with doing that, man. It ain't nothing wrong with doing that, man. This great stuff, man. It's a curse, and then I'm gonna end with this, cause I done ran out of words. What's up, Ron? Being great is a blessing and a curse. I'm finna get ready to end it. Being great is a blessing and a curse, because you're gonna have a small amount of people who gonna be happy for you, who gonna be there for you, who gonna ride with you. But you're gonna have an overwhelming amount of people who cannot stand where you headed to and who you've become. And for some reason in this world, the negativity is always louder than the positive. You can make a post that can be so positive, and you can have one negative comment, and you would rather respond to the one instead of the 99 who encouraged it. Becoming great is a blessing and a curse, because you're still within a fight within yourself. What's up, Trudy? You in a fight within yourself with believing. Listen, and this is me. You can accomplish goals. You can do things that you never thought that you would, and you still have to continue to battle in your mind that is happening. Greatness is a blessing and a curse because you have to constantly remind yourself that it's actually happening. And it's okay for it to happen. Because when you have made so many negative things your norm, when great things are happening, your spirit and soul will try to tell you it's only for a time. It's only temporarily. Because your spirit and soul is so used to the pattern, the continuance of things going wrong. Greatness is a blessing and a curse because you have to continue to remind yourself it's okay to embrace it and that it's happening. It's okay. And let the haters be haters, and the people that he's put in your life, always remember it's not. I'm saying I ain't saying this. I'm saying it in the aspect of it's a blessing and a curse because of the way you have to put it in perspective. Things that come with it, the raw truth. Things that come with being great. When you trying to become great and people, I'm done with the message. I'm gonna answer this question. I'm saying in becoming great, a lot of times I had to get rid of people that I thought was coming with me. That's painful. That could be painful when you becoming. It's a blessing and a curse in that aspect. In becoming great and having to isolate yourself and discipline yourself, it's hard on a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. It's a blessing. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. My last 2-3 months. The last 2-3 months of my life have been so refreshing and unfamiliar. A lot of things in the journey of the 7 years since I've been home, I wasn't equipped for them, but they wasn't as challenging as the last 3-4 months. The last 3-4 months of the 7 years have probably been the most challenging because it's almost like the king decided to drop things in my lap that in areas where I have not been challenged at all. And it wasn't even I didn't even get a warm up. Yeah. I didn't even get a warm up for this one. It just happened. And then that, my spirit tried to question, what was going on. And then I started seeing, you're going somewhere else. Old things have passed away. All things are becoming new constantly. When you quote that scripture, understand that that's going to be a continuation. When it say old things passed away, remember that old things are passing away. If you're practicing to become better in the spirit and becoming a better person, old things are passing away every day. When you wake up with these epiphany moments saying, I ain't on that no more. That is the old thing pass away, and because you're replacing it with a new train of thoughts of something that you want to do. And then when you say that, you have to understand that it is a continuation of things becoming new. And if I'm going to embrace the word, I have to understand that the becoming new gonna come with the relationship. It comes with the friendships. It comes with the learning to help people that you're frustrated and sick of. It comes with the continuation of building and mending situations that could be mended. It comes with these types of things. It's a continuation. A lot of people just get to I'm done drinking, I'm done smoking, I'm done just the basic things. That is sometimes when you come off of that milk and you start eating the meat, you're done with the basic things. I understand you cut back on drinking and you You cut back on smoking, and you cut back on partying. I understand that, but there's a continuation of old things. Old things pass away, and things becoming new. There's a continuation of that, because if we saying that the spirit is alive, what we have to understand is that the spirit is forever moving. The spirit is forever helping you grow and helping you understand. The spirit is teaching you new things. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Mac? The spirit is continually moving, and at this point, you know what I'm saying, he just dropped some things in my lap. You know what I'm saying? He just dropped some things, my guy. That's one of the wisest young men I've ever met out here in Dallas. I always gotta salute you when I see you. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see you post, you know what I'm saying, you great at what you do, but every time I see you post, bro, I just can hear your voice, your conversation, you know what I'm saying, the way you articulate, the way, you know what I'm saying, and I gotta commend you every time I see you, because I'm always inspired. It don't matter the age, it don't matter, background or whatever, you know what I'm saying. He one of the people that he don't even have to say nothing. When I see, I can just, and that's K-Baby. But yeah, man, it's just a journey, man. It's just a journey. I ain't got my word with me, raw truth, but I most definitely, I'll check it out. I'll check it out for sure. I'll check it out. But yeah, that's the line for today, man. I'm finna head back to the house. I'm finna give me something to eat. I got some things to work on, man. It's been a blessing, man. Y'all hold it down. It's your boy. Go to my website, jtb3.org.